Gatra, Fog, Massachusetts, and Mass Pike. Okay, also John.
Thank you, Bill. Moving on to agenda item 4, communications.
All right, for communications, John Bailey is not here today, and I'll be covering for him. So Duxbury, there was the Duxbury Route 3 bridge replacement. The next meeting will be held on April 15th, 2026 at 5 p.m. A virtual public information meeting will be hosted by Mass DOT. This information is on their website if you'd like to sign up. The purpose of this meeting is to provide the meeting with information on Phase 2 construction activities for the Route 3 Franklin Street Bridge replacement. The meeting will begin with a presentation by the project team, followed up for time for attendees to ask questions. Mass DOT is providing safety and operational improvement to the proposed Route 3 north and southbound bridges on the Pilgrim Highway over Franklin Street. The proposed work includes the complete replacement of the bridges, widening the existing shoulders along Route 3, replacing guardrails, upgrading the drainage along Route 3, repaving Route 3, and adding new curb and sidewalk down Franklin Street. For more information, please see the Mass DOT website at the information in your packet. Sorry, I can't fully see my screen here, but the SIP seeks to deliver meaningful results for riders today while laying the groundwork for tomorrow to support the goals for the capital improvement projects. They are going to be focusing on regular maintenance, building for the future, and improving service for the riders. Public comment is for March 26th to April 16th, 2026. And also to April 16th, 2026 is tax day coming up, so don't forget. If for any comments, please see more information in your packet. And Thursday, April 13th at 6 p.m. we're at the MBTA boardroom, and more information is in your packet. Federal Fund Infrastructure Office, FFIO. The Federal Fund and Infrastructure Office is to lead the agency within the Haley Driscoll administration, tasked with implementing the whole of the government approach to ensuring that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts can leverage the historic opportunities available for federal funding. That meeting will be held on April 28th at 2 p.m. And to sign up, please see the information in your packet. Walk Massachusetts will be hosting a series of walk audit academies, one being held in Randolph on May 2nd, 9:30 to 12 p.m. It's about a 1-mile walk. To sign up, scan the QR code on the screen or see your packet. The second one will be held in Holliston on May 5th from 9:30 to 12 p.m. And it's going to be a similar distance, and the information is on their website. And for that, that's all I have for you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions or comments for Matt? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 5, reports A, Brockton Area Regional Transit Authority, BAT.
Thank you, Chair. Some good news from our perspective. We received nearly $1 million in grants from both the state and the federal government to help support our microtransit programs that allow us to sustain service in Rockland, expand service in Bridgewater to the weekends. So that Bridgewater microtransit will start this upcoming Saturday. And then it will also allow us to help support our councils on aging that might be feeling budgetary pressures, like most of our communities across the Commonwealth. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to reserve some of that money to, either pick up some trips from councils on aging or help support their existing services. That is my update.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments for Michael? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6B. Oh, I'm sorry, 5B, Greater Attleboro Taunton Regional Transit Authority, GATRA. Is there anyone here from GATRA?
Yep, Mary Ellen DeFry is here. Congratulations to Michael and our counterparts at BAT. That's really great about the microtransit. GATRA is not part of that particular grant, but we do still have an active microtransit program that we are running and working with our councils on aging on. And we will be continuing to find ways to improve that service. Right now, GATRA is going through a system-wide look at where are we running, how can we roll out our Sunday service fully, and where do we need to continue to look for added hours in the evening. So we will be working on that over the next several months, or actually, in all honesty, probably right after World Cup. There's not a lot of bandwidth between now and the World Cup matches. But I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions for Mary Ellen? Thank you, Mary Ellen. Moving on to agenda item 6A, federal fiscal year 2026 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program implementation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have an amendment on the streets, amendment number 3 at the March 17th NPO meeting. They reviewed and released this amendment to a 21-day public view and comment period. And this is to accommodate a cost increase on want to go to the next page? On the project in Brockton, the intersection improvements at Center Street and Plymouth Street. The total cost on this project has increased by about $828,000, and the way this cost increase is being accommodated is so the bulk of the money is still coming out of the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program, but we're also going to pull in some funding from the Highway Preservation Program as well. So this is the amendment as it's been drafted up. That's up for a public review and comment period, and this will be next discussed at the MPO meeting coming up in a couple weeks. There is no action item on it at this time.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions or comments for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7, new business A, Transportation for Massachusetts, T4MA. Guest speakers, Reggie Ramos, Executive Director.
Do we have Reggie in the meeting?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, Bill.
Hi,
Hi,
how you
everybody.
doing?
I'm not sure if we're able to share slides. Rachel from my team is also here. She is our community engagement manager from on the western side of the state, but she is here also helping us to do some of our policy work. I see a lot of familiar names and faces. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Reggie, can someone make, who has the slides? Yourself, Reggie, or Rachel?
Rachel has the
Okay,
slides.
so if someone can make Rachel co-host so she can share her slide, it'd be great. I'm glad you're here today, Reggie.
Thank you so much. Again, everybody, I am Reggie Ramos from Transportation for Massachusetts. While we're waiting for the slides, I would like to thank everyone from OCPC for inviting us and making sure that folks know about our work. All right, let me go through some of the slides and really just wanted to introduce sort of our coalition. We can go on to the next slide. Rachel, who is and what does Transportation for Massachusetts do? We are a statewide coalition. We work a lot. Our membership is comprised of community-based organizations and nonprofit organizations working for transportation justice and equity across the Commonwealth. What that means basically is we advocate for policies and programs that bring sort of transit equity or transit availability across the Commonwealth, and making sure that, the MBTA and the RTAs are funded to the level where we are assured of sustainable and reliable service. We would like to think of ourselves as partners to government agencies, but also as well, also amplify voices from the ground, from the community. Rachel, are you able to advance to the next slide?
Says it's paused. Let me see. I think
Do you want to stop?
there we go.
Okay.
There we go. Can everyone see that or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see
The
the first
programs,
slide.
projects.
No, we're not seeing that,
No.
Rachel.
Okay, let me stop.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sorry, let me reshare here.
Technology is not our friend today. It really is, but
There we
there we
go.
go.
That's good.
Can you see that? Okay.
Can we go back to the first to slide 3 first?
Uh,
Rachel?
can you see the programs, projects, and
Yeah, I can
initiatives?
see that, but
Okay.
can we go back to
Go back, sure.
yeah, to the slide before that?
Okay. This one?
Yeah,
No,
people are
that's
not
the
for
pause.
one reason we're not able to see the slide, the third slide number 3.
Okay.
It might be the view, Rachel, that you're in.
Can you do like a slideshow view, or maybe I can share it?
Let's
Okay,
see.
great.
I'll try one more time here. Let's see.
Can you go to the next one?
And it's still saying pause. I'm not sure what's going on here.
I can try and share it myself.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
And then Steph, are we given Reggie access as a co-host?
Yep.
Thank you. Listen, this is too many meetings have I been on where I'm doing this and it doesn't, these I think these computers are getting a little bit old of all of us with the technology.
I know. It's
So
just the way.
appreciate the work that's coming here and look forward to the PowerPoint. Let us know, Reggie, if
I'm hoping that I'm showing the right slides here, but let's go. Are those is
there
that
we
the
go.
yeah?
Mhm.
So yeah, our approach to this coalition, this iteration of transportation for mass, we've been here since 2010, but in the last 4 years, I want to say beginning in, I want to say 2020, right at COVID, we wanted to sort of center, not sort of, but really decisively center communities and neighborhoods. And that included an explicit acknowledgement of what got us to this kind of land use and transportation problems, right? Or inequities or gaps. So that included this sort of express acknowledgement of how we got here. And that means also thinking about distributive justice and thinking about addressing gaps from the standpoint of low income Black, brown communities who have been left out in how we've planned transportation or land use for decades. What we do here at T4MA is a variety of things. We have developed a suite of programs and projects here. A lot of this really involve our policy work. We have Peter's not able to join us, and Rachel, we have an entire team, a small and mighty team that works on our policy advocacies at the state level as well as the federal level and the local levels. We do work in rural spaces where we advocate for microtransit, we advocate for connectivity, as well as sort of the macro transportation landscape of the entire Commonwealth. In that bucket, we do a lot of research and polls where there is a poll that's coming out, I want to say in 2 weeks, where we conducted sort of questions around the relevance of transportation availability when it comes to voting, when it comes to housing. That's going to come out in the next 2 weeks. We also do a lot of white papers in our policy work. The other centerpiece of our work really is cross-sector activation. T4MA is a multi-issue coalition, and that's by design because we feel that housing is the thread that goes through transportation is a thread that goes through sectors like housing, environmental justice, climate, opportunities. So our approach to this coalition building is really from ground up and involving a lot of groups that have work in different spaces. We have invested a lot in organizing because we believe in sharing foundational knowledge to communities so that we can better advocate for the things we need and also um, aligning ourselves with larger goals in terms of quality of life. Then we have spaces where we talk about RTAs, for example, and we call that space the RTA Advocates Council, where we talk to communities and get to know their experiences in their and being served in or by RTAs such as BAT, for instance, in the case of in your case, and then also just making sure that the issues of those communities being served by RTAs are surfaced at the federal, at the state level as well. And then, the other piece that we do a lot of work in is really investing in community work. We are fortunate enough to have the opportunity to share resources to organizations across the Commonwealth that are doing transit or transportation related advocacies and programs. These programs that we are supporting currently span from making sure that transportation is considered as we are thinking about a healthy air network. We're also thinking about, we also support different tables that talk about transportation that include spaces like the youth table that we are developing with the youth of Boston. For now, we're also hosting tables where we talk to people with disabilities and pedestrians and bikers, cyclists, users of micromobility, making sure that they have a sustained conversation and not just transactional. So these are the kinds of work that we are focusing on. I know in the MARPA meeting that Mary was in, we talked about the Champions Institute, and this has closed already, but I just wanted to uplift sort of this program that we've been working on with Smart Growth America. This is our second iteration, our second cohort of Champions Institute, where we take local public officials and advocates together in this particular cohort this year. And as they learn about the framework of complete streets, and this cohort is super special because we are having tandems or pairs apply. So one is an advocate and the other and their pair would be a public official of whether they're elected or someone like Mary or from the planning office. We are very, very proud. We were looking for 10 pairs, but I think we almost, the applications have been abundant, which only makes it clear that we need this sort of support and, a lot of advocates are really looking into this since it's very, very tangible and local and direct to them. Complete Streets is. At the end of the program, upon completing, our cohort is able to apply for a small grant, a modest grant that will get them started to working with their Complete Streets goals, and hopefully that starts really something big and community changing, right? The other thing that I wanted to share with you folks, and this is in line with our policy work and our advocacy at the State House, is making sure that we have transportation funding. And I think we can all agree that has become more recently a bigger problem, a bigger predicament because of challenges from in the political climate that we are in. We have this report that we came out with it's available in our website. We did one with Mass Budget where we talk about the contributions of fair share and how fair share, while very, very much instrumental in how we fund our transportation needs in the Commonwealth, it's not going to be enough. It's not nearly enough. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit. But I just wanted to extend that invitation for folks to look at that study. There's a lot of comparison from fair share and how we did this study of how fair share dollars and the idea of having a supplemental budget might not be as robust as we approach FY 28 and 29. just because of the way the fair share collection is designed. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about our policy priorities, and I'm sure for a lot of you, these are not completely foreign. I'm sure a lot of you here are working on the same things. I want to especially point out that we have been advocating for a definition of what microtransit is, especially in rural areas. Also thinking about creating a commission around that so that they are assured that this is funded. I want to say for folks, I'm not so sure if folks are super familiar with the concept of microtransit as it relates to other parts of the state, like, the hill towns in the Quabog Valley. A lot of this microtransit service is provided by their own communities, by nonprofits or CDCs that have one van or one, have a driver pool. And it's services like this that are smattered across the state. And also just saying, this is a statewide problem, and we need to kind of address this and make sure that this has funding because it serves a lot of folks, especially older folks who do not have access to a vehicle or someone who can drive them around to get to their needs. The other pieces of legislation or advocacy that we're working on is ending debt-based driving restrictions. We also know that the governor has expressed support by including this in her budget. That is currently being redrafted in the Senate Ways and Means. On the second slide, I want to point out this use of road safety cameras. I think this is a very crucial thing, especially as we're dealing with, transit being able to operate in a way that lanes are not blocked. And so to be able to render reliable and on-time service to their constituency, I think this is a very crucial piece that we are working on with across stakeholders. We just had a day of action, I want to say a month ago, at the State House with like resounding support from different stakeholders, ensuring that, roads remain safe and transit is able to render their service unblocked. I can breeze through those things. And of course, I didn't want to leave sort of this tidbit of piece of advocacy or legislation. I don't know what you call it, what we want to call it, but this piece of sort of thing that's hanging over our heads is that I don't know if folks are aware, but the TNC fees, when Uber and Lyft started operating in the Commonwealth, in the very beginning, we collect, that's the Commonwealth collects about 20 cents. By the way, we are one of the lowest state that collects this sort of fees. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we are, I want to say, fourth to the lowest of the 16 states, comparable states that were surveyed. So we are definitely at the bottom of this. That charge of 20 cents per ride that goes to where the ride originates, the town or municipality where the ride originates, is going to sunset next year, January 1st. And that has huge repercussions because the fees that have been collected for these service really have helped fund bike share, senior transportation services, and some infrastructure improvements. I want to say that the 20 cents is not enough. Last year, the state only collected 18 million in fees. And Uber and Lyft get so much of the pie of ridership, a large share of ridership, especially if you're looking at the urban areas. The city of Boston garnering the most of these fees last year only got, I want to say, 3 million, which does not make a dent in the transportation needs of Boston, and even, just looking at 18 million. So that's something that we've been working on, making sure that it doesn't get forgotten. I think that's a crucial piece of legislation, but also a crucial piece of opportunity that I believe we should grab. Another thing that we're really passionate about is making sure that RTAs are fully funded or funded to the level that they deem necessary or needed. Microtransit is also a huge thing. We are supporting for FY27 these kinds of investments into, and I will just say these because there are 4 points here in this slide, making sure that the state contract assistance remains robust and making sure that connectivity grants, which based on the conversation earlier, is really, really important and crucial. Congratulations to BAT for winning grants this year. And then making sure that community transit grants for older folks also are reflected on there. And of course, we all know how free fares have really invigorated public transit usage, ridership, and also just opened up opportunities for a lot of folks, and making sure that that is also a priority for the legislature, and hopefully it passes into the budget. There are a couple of things that, as we're looking at the SUP, that we're also closely, Pete and Rachel in my team are chasing down very, very closely. We really want to work with RTAs and the microtransit service providers that are community-led in making sure that not only does the MBTA get support, but everyone as well who is giving public transit to the rest of the Commonwealth is given the support that they need. Happy to take any questions, but really I'm very thankful to Mary, to Bill for giving us an opportunity to present here. We will be in Brockton very soon for some organizing where I've asked a few of the folks here to help us, Bat, Mike, and Mary, and hopefully see you in a month. I realize it's less than a month, but really grateful for any opportunity for collaboration, and want to extend the hand, and also just want to extend the invitation that should you find any of the things that we discussed here helpful to you, please use us as a resource and reach out to us for whatever it is that you need support from our organization and coalition. Thank you.
Thank you, Reggie. Any comments or questions?
Just a quick note of thanks through you, Chair. Thank you, Reggie, and to the T4Mass team for all your advocacy on behalf of Regional Transit. And we are looking forward to your visit.
Yay! I'm such a, for everyone's information, Mike, I'm just gonna go ahead and share with everybody. We're gonna do a ride along, and every time we do a ride along, I am always excited. My colleagues at the T always know this, that I'm always excited. So that's why I'm raising my hand.
And Mr. Chair, through you, I'll echo what Michael had said in terms of we're excited. Old Colony Planning Council also we're engaged in serving as a resource. Being a Brockton resident as well, this is always of interest. And in one of our past retreat holiday events, we all did a scavenger hunt on one of the Brockton area transit buses, and everybody had to go to different areas and report back and take pictures. So it is, it's an important, and it's really important to the region. It's access to jobs, it's access to education. What Brockton area transit does for this region is, and GATRA, because I've been seeing the Gateway Link, which has been amazing. We did an article recently about that. If you don't know about it, that's our next thing we're going to talk about. But just again, appreciation to Reggie and the team. And we know that we'll continue to be advocates for Brockton area transit as a resource. So thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, Rachel. Thanks for being here too. Thanks for being patient with our slides. Everybody, I will leave you to your meeting, and good luck, and have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Reggie.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, moving on to agenda item 7B, federal fiscal year 2027 to 2031 transportation improvement program development, the preferred set of projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Matt, for putting it the right slide. So, as you'll recall, at our last meeting, I discussed how we're running into a situation with this current tip development that, due to significant cost increases on projects as well as development delay, design delays on projects. We are running into a situation where it was really difficult to keep not only just keep the existing projects that we had already programmed in the tip, but to find room to program anything new. We have worked very closely with the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, and we're pleased to have come up with this preferred set of projects that you see on your screen now, which the MPO adopted at their meeting
Yeah.
on March 17th. So just to kind of quickly run through it. So next year, in 2027, we have two projects. We have the Brockton project, the um, Lyman Street, Grove Street, and Summer Street intersection, as well as the Grove Street Bridge replacement, and intersection project in Abington, intersection improvements at Route 139 at Chestnut Street. In 2028, we have uh, reconstruction improvements at the ramps between Route 3 and Route 3A on the Duxbury-Kingston line. In 2029, we have three projects. We have one Brockton intersection improvements at Belmont, Pearl, and Stonehill. We have East Bridgewater project, excuse me, East Bridgewater project at Route 18 Highland Street. And we have, excuse me, and we have project in Stoughton intersection improvements at Park Street and Turnpike Street. Then in 2030, we have our solar project 2030 uh, corridor reconstruction of South Avenue and Whitman. Even though this project exceeds the overall regional target for that year, we are going to enter into cost sharing with MassDOT. MassDOT has agreed that they can pick up whatever amount runs over the regional target for this project. So we're very grateful for that. And then in 2030, we have the two Hanover project, or 2031, I should say, with the two Hanover projects, Route 53 at Broadway and the Route 139 corridor improvements at Main Street and Silver Street in the town's downtown area. So the downside of this, as I mentioned a moment ago, we were not unable to program anything new into the regional side of the tip, and that was really disappointing. We have a lot of project need out there, and we always strive to at least program something new. That just was not physically possible this go around. But the good news is that we avoided having to deprogram anything, which is the last thing we ever want to do. So we maintained what was already programmed, and we, with the cost sharing offer from Masto, we do have a physically constrained tip to develop as we move into development going forward. If we go to the next slide. So this is the statewide side of the tip. So basically, the two sides, we have a regional target, and then we have, excuse me, the statewide program. Under the statewide program, you can see a variety of projects. We have the Powder Point Bridge replacement. We have a Vernon Street bridge replacement, Bridgewater. We have the intersection projects in Avon at Route 28 at Harrison Boulevard and East and West Spring Street. We have an intersection project, high priority safety location in Duxbury, Route 53 at Franklin Street. We have a corridor project on Route 123 in Abington and Brockton. And then you can see in the last line that so while we're unable to add anything new on the regional side of the tip, under the statewide program, the state is adding in intersection improvements in Easton, that being that little triangle there between Washington Street, Turnpike Street, and Purchase Street. And so that is great news. At least we get a new project through that. So this is what the MPO has adopted as the preferred set of projects. This is what we're using to develop the tip, which is currently undergoing its final stages of document development. The goal is to get a draft to our state and federal partners no later than the end of next week for them to begin their review. We will present it to NPO at their April meeting, which I believe is April 23rd, 21st, I believe. It's April 20th or 21st. I believe it's 21st. But and at that point, they'll most likely decide to release the tip in its entirety to a 21-day public review and comment period. At which point, then at the next JTC meeting in May, we will present the tip in its entirety as it is out for a public review and comment period. So that's the plan going forward. Sorry about the bad news about not able to be not being able to program anything new on the regional priority targets, but overall it's good news that we have a physically constrained tip and that we were at least able to maintain what has already been programmed.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7C, Pembroke Route 53, 139 corridor study, project update.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick update on where we are with this corridor study. It is, kind of on the backside of development now. We have completed all of our data collection and analysis, and now we're in a stage where we're getting ready to meet with stakeholders for recommendations, which will then be followed by you can just jump to the next page. Okay, so yeah, you can stay on this one. Which will then be followed by general meetings with the public to present findings after we've met with stakeholders. But just as a reminder, what the corridor study covered, so it's 2.6 miles in its entirety of the Route 53 and Route 139 corridor, mostly Route 139. It's just that one piece of Route 53 between the North River at the Hanover Town Line and Route 139, and then Route 139 from Route 53 to the Marshall Town Line. Again, 2.6 miles, completely under the jurisdiction of MassDOT. You can see the volume on this corridor ranges between 17,000 to 23,000 vehicles per day. So it's a very busy corridor. It's one of the busiest in our region. And that presents a lot of challenges, not only in terms of safety, but congestion as well. So you want to go to the next one? So again, this just kind of reminder of what goes into a corridor study. So all of that data collection, field observations, and then we take that all back, and then we do capacity analysis, safety analysis, as well as projecting 5-year planning horizons. So using background growth rate, we're able to project conditions at a 5-year planning horizon, and we're also going beyond background growth rate. If we know of a specific development, then we can forecast for that as well. So there is a very large residential development planned for this corridor, well, just off of this corridor, I should say, Corporate Park Drive, which is off of Oak Street. It's not even a quarter of a mile off of the corridor, so it will have major impacts on the corridor. And so we're able to take trip generation from that, which will be about 1,400 new vehicle trips a day, and add that into our analysis. Go to the next one. So these are some of the key findings. And this is what I really wanted to talk about today. Some of the key findings that we found from the study and where as we develop potential mitigation and recommendations, this is the areas that we are looking at. So I think most people are aware there's significant congestion at Route 139 and the Route 3 ramps in Pembroke. The series of traffic signals there, they do operate on a dynamic dynamic phasing program, so they adjust continuously throughout the day based on traffic demand, which is as advanced as technology as you can get for a traffic signal system. So that's good news, but unfortunately, what's happening is there is a major bottleneck basically between Oak Street Extension, which is just on the east side of Route 3, where the mobile gas station is. Yeah, the entranceway to the plaza where Ocean Street Job Lot, formerly Christmas Tree Shops, was. So from that intersection, basically to the southbound ramps for Route 3, that's just one major bottleneck. What's happening is the um, the storage lanes for turning movements on the Route 3, they're just inadequate. They don't have nearly enough capacity for the volumes that are using those lanes. So what happens is the queue backs into the through travel lanes, and then vehicles that want to go through straight are being impeded, and then it's just creating a major bottleneck. So that's not there's not much you can do with that in terms of signal phasing, and that's one of the major challenges that we're looking at with this corridor study and coming up with recommendations, because I know MassDOT has done a lot to look at operations there. Beyond that, there's a uh, there's a little concern about accessibility and safety for bicyclists and pedestrians on this corridor. The corridor has been identified as having high potential for everyday walking and everyday biking, and that'll even increase even more so with the development of Corporate Park Drive. While there's not a lot of residential right now along this corridor, if you cross just into the Marshfield um, town line, just on the Marshfield side, there's a lot of high density residential development there. Um, those people obviously want to make pedestrian and cycling trips to businesses down this area. And right now, so there is a sidewalk on the eastbound side of Route 139. So coming from Pembroke, heading to Marshall, that direction there is a sidewalk. However, there's a lot of challenges to that sidewalk. There are some major crossing points where pedestrian is exposed for a long period of time to high volumes of traffic. One being Oak Street, another being the Route 3 southbound ramps. And then crossing the corridor, it's a physical barrier. It's nearly impossible for pedestrians and bicyclists to actually cross this corridor. So that is another area that we're really looking at. Crashes, there's a lot of crash activity, as you would imagine, on that on the eastern end of this corridor where Route 3 is. A little less so going west. I'll note that a few years ago, MassDOT made improvements at the intersection of Route 53 and 139, which is the Washington Street and Columbia Road and Scoosett Street. And those improvements seem to have worked very well for improving safety. Looking at crash history, it looks like both frequency of crashes and injuries have dropped off there since MassDOT made those improvements. So that was a great moment of progress to be noted. And then finally, just issues with the challenges with the infrastructure. When our culvert team was out there, they observed what appeared to be significant deterioration on a culvert crossing on the western end of the corridor. That was immediately brought to the attention of MassDOT, so they are aware of it. And then there's concern. So where there are sidewalks, there's concern about vegetation creeping into the sidewalk, making sidewalks even more difficult to traverse. Concerns about vegetation blocking signage or signage being inadequate. So a lot of this is another area that our recommendations will be focused on. And this is just, some of the design alternatives that we consider when we make these recommendations. So it's everything from capacity improvements to traffic calming. There's a whole toolbox that we can kind of dip into and look at to address some of these issues. We always use the stated best practices, whether it's from NACTO or ITE, or the Federal Highway Administration. Uh, there's uh, a lot of tools that we can dip into to address issues on this corridor. And the next one. So our next steps, so I mentioned we'll be meeting with stakeholders very shortly. We have a meeting scheduled in a couple of weeks. Then following that, we'll begin to outreach to the general public. That'll occur in May. And then following meeting with the public and getting their comments, we'll wrap up the final document. That'll really occur over the summertime. And towards the end of the summer, that's when we would wrap up this document and finalize it. So that's the plan moving forward. And if you have any questions or comments, so I'm the project manager on this as well as my colleague Ko Chang. We're co-managing this project, so you can reach out to either one of us at any time, and we're happy to discuss.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions or comments for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7D, Kingston and Plymouth Route 80 Corridor Study Project Update.
Mr. Chair, I will take care of this one.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Guo Changli. I'm the principal planner and also the project manager for the Route 80 corridor study. Next, please. So a very brief overview for the project. So similar to Bill's presentation on Route 53 and 139 corridor study, both the project are on time with a good quality, good standing. Really appreciate the community MassDOT, basically everyone's support and collaboration on this, so we can move in the project ahead. So today I'm going to just cover very briefly on a couple updates. First is the general public survey and the technical analysis, our next steps. Next, please. You may have seen this slide before. So the corridor that we are talking about, it's about 6.5 miles in center line distance. So the corridor involved the roadways in the MassDOT jurisdiction and the town of Kingston. So it is a minor arterial road. Within 5 miles, it's in Kingston and Plymouth 1.5 mile. So the starting point for the corridor is Route 3A from north, all the way to Carver Road to the south. So there are only 3 traffic signal and multiple stop control intersections. Our team, led by Matt, Sean, and Kyle, did the field study, was completed last month. We can talk a lot more about this following slides. Next, please. We have reached a few milestones, and like I said before, I appreciate the town and MassDOT collaboration. We have the great kickoff meeting back in December. We involved the general public as well as the major stakeholders throughout the whole process. So we're heading to 2026 as we're very happy to complete the general survey, which we received almost 130 responses. And we also did the field study very similar to 53 corridor study. We have culvert assessment, dash cam recording along the corridor, and a complete assessment for the corridor. Next, please. And we are going to focus on the findings. So we had almost 130 responses. As you may imagine, along Route 80, the main primary mode of transportation is still vehicle, like sedan, pickup truck, some small utility truck. and walking it's 24%, followed by the bicycling 8%. So remember, this is just a survey that we had for the people who responded to the survey, but the data that we collected from the field and the collision report, they're all those kind of whole set of information we assessed. The primary trip purpose, including the shopping, which almost 40%, as you can mention, Colony Place and some regional shopping center might be one major destination for the travelers. And commute traffic only has 23%. We asked the question about what kind of trip type you have, that kind of help direct our recommendations. As we can see, for single alone destination trip, it's over 20%. And the majority are the pass-through trips. They do not make any stops along the corridor. And for 40%, they have both purposes. We asked about the surveyors. What's your preferred, what do you visualize the future? For the top, it's the slower traffic. People think speeding is a main issue. That's kind of the same result from our open answer questions. It's safety, speeding. People also express they would like to see more sidewalks. And we did have a mapping system, GIS map, to map out all the gaps for sidewalks. And we also know that some concurrent project along Route 80 funded and implemented by MassDOT. Traffic signal is a number third most needed improvement, which is almost 25%, 1/4 of people want to see that. And better access management, that kind of things like the number of driveways, type of driveways, the design of the entrance with the local street. And bicycling, it's also pretty demanded along the corridor. It's about 17% responders want to see that. Next, please. And we have some open answer questions, just try to verify those multiple questions. So what we found is the traffic safety issue is kind of a dominant issue in the communities. So over 35% people think strongly about the vehicle speed control should be done, either through design, some traffic calming, or speed enforcement. And intersection and roadway safety is the secondary concern, followed by the development density and traffic impact that impact the neighborhood street or the travelers. And so it's part of our assessment too. It's the completeness of street, like complete street and vision zero, like how the corridor improvement in the future can benefit bicycling, walking safety. I think that's kind of echo the purpose of this study is the public also concerned about the safety for non-vehicle traveling. So a couple other issues like rural characteristic preservation. It's a highly demanded tourist place, so it's kind of makes sense. The preservation of the quietness or safety along the corridor. So a couple other items like repair, surface condition. So we record all those responses, and we will provide a table sheet to record all the comments in the process. Next, please. You might be interested in knowing where are those problematic locations. So we actually designed a question to answer that concern. So the situation for congestion, as you can see on the left side of this the screen, Commerce Way is the top is concerned, and followed by Carver Road, Route 3A intersection, Charlotte, and then the next two are having the similar score, which is at the Sacred Heart Elementary School and Parting Ways. For the safety concern, basically the number of crashes, the close collisions happen at the same location. Compass Way is the top on the list. And Christian Road, Willow Bend Avenue, there are a lot of residential, 50 plus community. So Carver Road, similar to Commerce Way, occurred twice. As our team conducted the field survey, we did find out there's a couple issues that we will compile all those findings to be presented to the stakeholder as well as to a public meeting. So I don't want to read all of them, but we can move to the next.
Guoshang, did you want to take questions now or wait till the end?
Yeah, I'm happy to take it now, or maybe we can wait to the end of the presentation.
All right. Well, wait, Pine, if you don't mind, we'll wait till the end, but we'll circle back.
Thank you. So our plan is we're going to compile all those research analysis in-house. We'll be presenting all the findings, in May. So we are working with the community. We're going to have a joint virtual meeting. So everybody is involved and invited. And then we will prepare, OCPC team will prepare the report, including all the findings, will be shared with all the stakeholder and the public. We will present all these findings, so it's easier in a Q&A session, in a virtual meeting format, so we'll take questions. Also, the public meeting will be hosted in May. A final report, the delivery with all the data sheet, documentation, analysis will be published by the end of September. So if we can get all the public meeting done, we should share with everyone sooner. Next, please. So this is a team of transportation. We have Sean, Matt, Kyle, with Mary Charlie's supervision. Also, I've seen delegate and the town leaders and staff are present in the meeting too. I'm very happy to take any question. I know Pine has a question, so we can start from there.
Should I just shout out? Thanks for the presentation, but I want to say that, as I live on Elm Street near Brook Street, and there wasn't very many, didn't look like you had very many super responses from Kingston. I don't know how you reached out to the community, but I never saw anything about a survey, a public survey, and I would have handed it out to all of my neighbors if I had had the opportunity to, and you would have gotten a lot more response in terms of, the speed of traffic and the lack of, trying to. Sorry, should I go on?
Yes, please.
The speed of traffic and the lack of the confusing speed limit signs and whatnot. Personally, I think we should get rid of Route 80 because I don't think we need it anymore. I think it was one of those early things. I think it's probably one of the shortest routes in the state, in that it runs from 3A, which wasn't really. I think it came in before 3A. Let me put it that way. It also came in way before 3, and it also, and it might have been a little bit after 106, but I think it was probably, that same historic colonial time when Route 80 was formed. Right now, it's a speedway, and it's very dangerous for those of us that live on the hill going down to the river. And I don't understand why we're maintaining it as a state route when there are so many other ways throughway, if you will, in terms of the tourism that you mentioned. I don't know why somebody would run on 3A. on Route 80 to do tourism. I do also know that Wildlands Trust is going to be expanding right there on near Sylvia Place Pond. And I think that we should, I would love it if you would open up that survey again and give us a time to weigh in.
Thank you, Pine. Yeah, go ahead.
I just would suggest in situations like this that if you drop off a couple of you knock on some one or two people's doors and say, would you mind doing this for the neighborhood or something like that, I bet you'd get a lot more response.
And Pine, if I could just weigh in, so we usually go through our traditional avenues of getting word out, and now knowing that there are some additional ways, I will need to just double check with the staff in terms of reopening it up, and what that does to the process, because we have timetables and discussions and other projects to move on to, but appreciate the advice. We will keep that in mind because the goal really is to get, if we're really doing community engagement, the staff really does a nice job in putting it out in different avenues. And so yes, we'll.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see it, but I do.
It was on the town website, Pine. Town news blast.
I didn't get a news blast, but
we will talk
at any rate, if all I'm saying is if I didn't get it, there's a lot of people that didn't get it, and I'd love to be able to have an opportunity to weigh in because we're extremely upset with this road.
Let me talk offline with staff about the reopening, and then incorporate Val Massard, our delegate from Kingston, and we will get back to you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Pine.
Thank you. Any more questions for the design team?
Thanks.
Oh, go ahead.
I just was wondering if we can fracture the Kingston Route 80 from the Plymouth Route 80, because they're so incredibly different that there's almost no way that the survey response can be reflective of the whole corridor. It's like going night and day. And I expressed some concerns with the survey when it was originally published, because it did not include just a residential corridor as an option. And I still have concerns that this corridor is being portrayed as one road that is, it's a road, but it has two completely different characteristics in the two different towns in terms of use, in terms of street lights, in terms of access. And I'm concerned that the study isn't accurately reflecting that. It's 100% residential in Kingston. It's a lot of open space. It's got no water. It's got no sewer. It's completely different from where it is located in Plymouth. And I think that really needs to be called out more and respected in that manner when doing this study.
That's great concern. I just want to ensure that the process is under, has been reviewed carefully. All those survey question actually does reflect the surveyor from which town. So this is not uncommon that a corridor reach different communities. It's a corridor study. It's very comprehensive in nature. And certainly, Pine's comment, Val's comment, great. So we will try our best to include that. If the stakeholder meeting or public meeting should be bisect to two different meetings, we are very happy to accommodate that.
Okay.
Yeah, we certainly want to take your suggestions. Like I said, it's not uncommon. Our responses also can be classified or categorized by different community who take the survey on which side. And like I said before, all those public outreach has been actively involved the public, not only the town website. I know Kingston, Plymouth, you guys are so awesome. You posted the survey multiple times online, and Megan, our team, posts the survey on our newsletter multiple times. it's on the Facebook, social media. We try our best, but I know there always some slips through some individual. I also want to shout out to the team. We went out to the corridor. We cannot knock to the residential houses, but we did hand out to the survey to any public places like Walmart, I believe, a couple other stores. We had a good time. We spoke with the residents. They expressed their concern, speeding, safety, but we can't be perfect process. We can't make sure
Right.
everyone, but those are the valid, permitted channel that we can release our survey. But it's possible we can expand it, the timeline from May, the end of last month, maybe another 30 days. We're happy to do so. Another thing can consider to be involved is the website. Megan Andrew developed a website on OCPC website. And we do have an open answer. You can always contact us. The main point of contact is Bill and myself. They can always express their concern. They can leave their email. We are always actively in responding. Then we will respond to anybody within 24 hours. So I just want to mention that.
Yeah, that's much appreciated. We're just looking to make sure that we're reflecting some of the concerns and values in Kingston, and making sure that we reflect the residential nature of and rural character in Kingston, as opposed to the very heavily developed version of Route 80 in Plymouth, and that the concerns are going to be different, the values are going to be different, and the survey results I would expect would be a little bit different in Kingston.
Thank you.
Please, Madam. Thank you. Any more comments or concerns or questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 8, other business A, community local technical assistance studies.
Thank you, Chair. So really quickly, I know we're a little over time here, but just a couple updates of the LTA program. We do have a couple projects that we're working on. New requests that came in from the town of Hanover to look at the intersection of Hanover Street, which is Route 139 and Plain Street. In the coming weeks, we'll be doing some data collection there and some updated analysis that we had previously done, the Route 139 corridor study. So that'll be going forward this month. And then we also have a traffic study in West Bridgewater to collect data collection at a couple of locations that will help them with a grant application that's currently in progress. And that data collection will actually be occurring next week. And with that's my update for LTA.
Thank you, Bill. Moving on to agenda item 8B, staff reviews on ENFs, EIRs, and NPCs.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Kyle.
If you could go to the next slide. So we have just a few updates this month. One new project for the town of Pembroke. It is a multifamily residential housing, and this is a environmental notification form. And this project includes 356 units of multifamily housing, including 36 affordable housing units across 7 residential buildings, 1 clubhouse, and 1 water resource recovery facility. The project will include approximately 347 parking spaces, 188 garage parking spaces, and 177 land banked spaces, as well as associated landscaping, utilities, and lighting. And the site has been previously disturbed and used as a construction stockpile and debris yard. Next, we have 1 certificate for the town of Plymouth. This is for the Plymouth Harbor Access Facility improvements, and this is a single environmental impact report. And this certificate states that the project adequately and properly complies with MEPA. And finally, we have 1 public notice for the town of Plymouth, notice of application for a Chapter 91 waterways license. This license is in regards to excavation, dredging, reconstruction, and maintenance of the existing seawall and revetment at 130 Warren Ave in Plymouth. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 8C, regional concerns and local community transportation issues.
Don Howard here. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Don.
I started something 10 years ago here in McQuon Street in Hanson, and it's all at a standstill because of the water department between Rockland, Abington, and Hanson, because their water pipe runs down McQuon Street. I started that because there was only 1.2 miles of roadway between Route 58 and the town line in Pembroke. And it's at a standstill. It's thrown out of the woods. I don't know. But I picked that area because of the fact it would connect sidewalk from Route 27 to 53 in Pembroke, because Pembroke got their road all done and completed about 5 years ago, I guess, or more. And Hanson's still in the waiting room. And the trouble is, I think I'm not a selectman anymore, so I don't have, and nobody will listen to me. But I still think that 1.2 miles of road should be looked at more closely and connected, because it ties in sidewalks between actually two main roads. People want sidewalks. And the problem is it's all between Rockland, Abington Water, and Hanson, because they were going to cut the hill down 3 feet, I believe, which would interfere with the water pipe. And I have a new way of looking at it, is filling in both sides and leaving the water pipe alone, because of the fact in that area, the road going into Pembroke is all high road, and it would mean cutting down driveways and roadways, whereas if you fill in both sides, it would leave that and maintain it the same way. And I was just curious on whether or not I should try to continue on doing something with that or not. That's my question. The phone's dead. Oh.
We can hear you.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. The only thing I can say about that project right now is that, it continues to be in our universe of projects, and it continue to work with the town and MassDOT on that. It's up to the town to advance the design of that project, and we're currently working with everyone on that. And so it's still there. It's not programmed right now, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's still in our universe.
Thank you, Bill. Go ahead, Dawn. I'm sorry. Thanks again, Bill, for everything you did today at today's meeting.
Thank you.
Any more regional concerns or local community transportation issues?
I just wanted to briefly thank OCPC for all of its help in the last 2 years, applying for a variety of grants to try to help us with the exit. I guess it's exit 20 now. It used to be exit 10, or is it the other way around? I'm losing track. But
20.
Also, yeah, and Big Y, the intersection at 53 and 3A. It's and the study on Route 80 and all the other help we're getting from OCPC is really deeply appreciated. Couldn't do it without you guys, and just want to say thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Phil.
you. Any more concerns, regional concerns or issues? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda 9, adjournment. Anyone want to make a motion?
One motion, Dan from Whitman.
Thank you, Dan. Second? Anyone?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Dawn, for
Thanks,
chairing.
everyone.
See ya. Glad I was able to make it.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.